Hi from RK Studios. I'm your host, Neil Fitzgerald, JCI Santa Clarita's EVP for 2019, and I'm joined by my very good friend, Daniela Eches. Now, in 2019, you're our Director of Social Media Marketing, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So what does a Director of Social Media Marketing do?
Well, right now I'm trying to boost up the JCI Santa Clarita's presence online. When I first joined the organization, I have to admit, I didn't realize it was around Santa Clarita for so long, for over 20 years. And I've been a resident for at least 25. And I wanted to make sure that it captured how much work and effort the organization actually puts into the community. Especially nowadays, almost everything is on social media. If people aren't aware, that's your best avenue to make sure that they know what we're all about, what events we're doing, what we're trying to do for this community.
Great. Now, talk to me about why you joined, because you and I used to work at the same company, and I kind of knew your name, but I didn't actually know who you were. And then one day I went to JC event. I was like, I know that lady. I know her. So talk to me. How did you get signed up and join?
So originally, I learned about the organization through Nexus CV, and I met Charlene, who's our current manager at large.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about, who I was at Princess Cruises and how I was mostly in HR, but one of the things I love doing there is actually volunteering for a lot of the events and a lot of the other organizations in this valley that we used to help out. Bridge to Home, Homes for Families, Habitat for Humanity. And we just got to talking about this organization and the opportunities to further develop as a professional, leadership skills as well. I think even you and I eventually have talked about how this organization really facilitates for you as an individual to develop those leadership skills. Because you mentioned before in our conversations how sometimes your profession holds you back from showcasing your other skills that you might have.
Yeah.
So I really thought this would be a great fit. And slowly but surely, I started attending the events that we were doing and kind of going ahead and diving into some of the committees and the projects that we had in the fall.
That's great. Talk to me, what sort of events have you gone to since you've become a member?
Well, definitely the general membership meetings. It's a great opportunity to meet other professionals as well, 40 under 40. And Santa's Helpers, which I had the privilege of co-chairing with Taylor Kellstrom, our current president. I'm actually looking forward to some of the events we're actually thinking of putting together this year, especially some of our social events.
Yeah.
Just so that people get to know us not only as an organization, but as individuals, like who we are as a person.
Cool. And what do you think has been your sort of biggest lesson or takeaway or development experience that you've had so far since you joined?
I think one of the eye-opening moments, especially given my professional history, this is probably one of the first organizations where it's okay if things don't go perfectly. And there is a strong network and a strong backing that if things don't go right, you can ask for help and you can certainly get the support that you need. And even if things don't go okay, then it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's not a failure.
Yeah. I think that's a very important point, because it's a great organisation where you can get your feet wet and develop. Like, you're doing social media, which is, you're a HR professional. We're doing this podcast right now. This is the first time I've ever interviewed somebody. So, I think one of the cool things about us is that the fact we always try and develop ourselves, don't we?
Exactly.
And you said that we've got, we're planning for lots of different events this year as well. What would be the big event that you're looking forward to this year?
Well, certainly Politics on Tap, because as you know, it hasn't been around for at least a good year and a half. 40 Under 40 and Santa's Helpers, of course, that's near and dear to my heart. But also just some of the social events that we have. We're going to participate in SCV's Dodger Day. Really looking forward to that. And we have some others that we're thinking of doing, but I do love the fact that we were able to help out Bridge to Home this year in doing their donation drive. And we still have one more month to go. But I really like the fact that this valley has really stepped up and gone ahead and made donations to the many companies that were willing to go ahead and participate in our drive, and especially with the rainstorms that we've had. Beautiful green, but put people in a predicament.
That's great. And as our social media guru, so to speak, what social media platforms are we on that if people want to find out more about us?
Well, if they want to find out more about us, certainly you can check us out on Facebook. We have multiple Facebook pages, actually. Certainly our main dedicated one for JCI Santa Clarita. We also have one for 40 Under 40 and also for Santa's Helpers itself. We're definitely on Instagram. And since we are a professional organization, we are also on LinkedIn.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Danny, and talking about your experiences as a member. And good luck as you expand our social media coverage this year. Coming up, I get to grill my good friend Corin, and we're going to talk about SCV 40 Under 40. Stay tuned.
Do you like what you hear? Why don't you join us at one of our general membership meetings? Our next one for April, starting at 6 p.m., is at Mama's Table, 23340 Cinema Drive in Santa Clarita. We hope to see you there.
Welcome back, and I'm now joined by Corin Young. Corin, you got involved with the JCs through 40 Under 40.
I did.
Talk to me about your involvement.
Okay, so I first even heard about JCI when a couple of my friends won the 40 Under 40 award several years ago, and I was always thinking, like, what is this organization? I had no idea. And then I was nominated for a 2017 award, and caught me off guard, but I submitted my paperwork, and I ended up being one of the honorees.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It was a really cool experience, and it just kind of introduced me to the whole world of JCI.
And how did you win it? What were you nominated for?
So I knew that you could win by either being active in the community or being an entrepreneur with a successful business or moving up in the corporate world. I felt like there were some people that maybe had bigger businesses or bigger whatever. So I kind of focused my application on the volunteerism that I do in the community. So I had my letters of recommendation were from somebody at College of the Canyons and from the founder of Safe Rides.
Oh, cool.
Who I volunteered with for 11 years.
So you won 40 Under 40 back in 2017? And then you then got involved with him for JCs, correct?
Yeah. So I think that the 40 Under 40 Awards Gala was in September, and they had a whole bunch of events lined up immediately afterwards. And so I started going to the general membership meetings and karaoke and working on Santa's Helpers and just so many different things. And it just didn't stop. It seemed like there was another meeting or event like every week, and it was a great opportunity to meet some new people.
That's great. And talk to people about what 40 Under 40 actually entails. Like, what are the events that we have during the program?
Okay, so after you submit your application, it's reviewed. We have a panel of judges. This year, I think we had 9 judges. It's a bipartisan committee. They're local representatives from the community, different business organizations, nonprofits, education. And they look at each nominee, and based on their own merit, they say, okay, this person should be awarded or maybe for a future year. And for those that even are nominated, we have a nominee mixer. This year we had it at Wolf Creek.
Oh, fun.
Where they got to come in, they bring a toy, that's the cost of their admission, that ends up being a donation towards our Santa's Helpers.
Uh-huh.
There was another event that was an alumni mixer for all of the previous honorees and the current nominees. And then it all culminates in one big award gala that we had at the Valencia Hyatt that was incredible. It's just a big production. We have local elected officials come up. We've got business leaders, and we've got JCI members to put the whole thing together and present.
That sounds great. And how many people were at the awards gala?
Oh, my goodness. I think that it was close to 300 people. Every year we get between 70 and 100 nominees. We narrow it down to 40 honorees every year. We can't do more than that because that's in the name.
That sounds fantastic. And I like the idea of, even if you don't win, you get recognised with the nominee mixer and connect with other young professionals, because I think that's so important. And then the chance to mix with the former winners and the alumni and learn from them. And talk us through, I mean, sounds like a big production. So, who do the JCs partner with in order to put on such a large-scale event?
Yeah, so because it's a big event and it is expensive, we rely not only on the revenue from ticket sales, which is a fundraiser for our organization, but also on the generosity and support from our sponsors and our partners.
Yeah.
This year, we partnered up with the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, who sponsored our nominee mixer at Wolf Creek Brewery. We had our partner, Pool and Chaffrey LLC, sponsor our alumni mixer that was at Salt Creek Grill by the mall.
Oh, cool.
And, of course, our title sponsor is the Santa Clarita Magazine, and they have been so amazing and so generous with us, both financially and in terms of helping us get information out to the community.
Great.
We also have, I think there were a couple of dozen smaller sponsors, ranging from, $250 to $500 to $1,000, that what they got was advertising sponsorship. So they were in our program and on the big screen at the event.
It's definitely a large scale production. So last year we had 3 co-chairs, didn't we, for the event? Yeah,
that's right. We had Charlene Duzick, Tracy Taplin, and Taylor Kellstrom were the 3 co-chairs.
That's great. And what did you do for the committee last year, Corin?
I was one of the committee members. I've actually joined several of the committees last year because I like to be a part of the organization.
That's great.
Without jumping in too much to co-chair.
And for listeners, how would they find out how to nominate? Where will they find out the information this year?
So for anybody interested, you can check us out. We have information on our general website. It's at jcisantaclarita.com. We have information specifically about 40 Under 40 on our website. It's scv40under40.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for 40 Under 40, we're all over the magazine of Santa Clarita. As one of our big partners, they help us promote the event. They publish the names of all of the nominees, and then they show the pictures of each one of the honorees, and then they're at the event as well.
That's great, Corin. That's great. I think it's really exciting that this program goes from strength to strength, and I think it's really cool as a young professional to meet other young professionals every single year that you might not know of, and expand your network at all times, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's been a great recruiting tool for us as well, because it's a great way for us to be introduced to other young professionals that are prominent in the community, either at their jobs or creating their own business, or even through their volunteerism.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for coming today, Corin. I've been your host today, Neil Fitzgerald. Like us, share this podcast, join JCI Santa Clarita. You can visit our website at jcisantaclarita.com.